We're going to continue to put this all set, get something concerned out the wall there. Because the last time with the fusion is feasible. The 7 says by 2035, which guarantees the ads a long time for solvency after they don't solve their impacts, or the next over a long time, and now the counter plan there. Add-on has a super long time for it, taking a long time for that to affect kids now, and then half of them said graduate new tech is obviously not in the interim, which guarantees to solve the impact there. This is a very nebulous impact of great power nuclear war. They don't say who would be involved. Also, condition multiple conditions are good. 8-point counter we get to 2 conditions self-predictability regression be dictating how many conditions we get to start research back to the so counter plans 2 world making it impossible to make their conditions C 2 condition counter plans can simply turn into a single condition counter with multiple with interpretations arbitrary cost by the event D perm second base making debate hard for the affirmative is good. First offsets for ground advantages like more prep time which makes debate for overall second and force them to think more chiefly debate better which make them better debates overall if they win best seconds both MC strategies choose not one of the folks we never country two subs protect 1.5 sensibly was again the 2 AC barely made it warning you should be very skeptical. Also we need different negative flexibility now the criticism at the top. Energy production policies rooted in a system globally quality. The Aslox new forward narrative one that constantly promises next best advancement in energy policy. Our burden until it senses ignores history, political, social, economic, ecological record of the energy regime. This causes air application of flowing notions that locks in militarism, militarization of energy policy. That fails to holistically integrate the structural causes of energy problems that are occupied of zero policy or inability to transfer because it has to be solved there back in the future. Root cause also makes return the case in the app. Can't solve the particular or interdisciplinary explanation of the best available data show. Our energy problems are rooted in systemic processes of the rights and social groups. Our occupied evidence says our evidence says their authors rely on a highly fragmented, dehistoricized policy that makes it extremely reductionist view of the world through selective chosen piece of evidence, which is independent region vote negative representation. We outweigh the case of magnitude. The app causes global annihilation, militaristic forms of energy modulation, exclude the consideration of the periphery. Those populations should be disposable, which causes environmental destruction and warfare. Our Board of the evidence says that atomic war extinction not once, but twice. Only our authors are qualified to talk about the social implications of energy policy. Byrne is the head of the Center for Energy and Environmental Policy, which does interdisciplinary graduate research in energy and environmental policy. Also won the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize for his work on the IPCC, totally director of studies in Wheaton program in Chicago. Now they have no framework argument in the 2AC. No, even if they say method is not first, they don't have an alternative version of how you should weigh the case, which means that you air negative on this question that and voting negative is a methodological question that changes the approach we take to energy policy. Voting negative means affirming starting from the perspective of the oppressed, or rather, in a top-down policy which produces 8 point, it conceptualizes problems. The alternative produces new ways to conceptualize the problems of energy policy. Air negative because if we win their method produces inaccurate acceptance of what problems in the first place, it causes extension. B point solutions reconfigures what is and what is not possible, widens the aperture of possibilities to solve the case that's stress and awkward morning. They say their first argument is that our arguments don't assume fission. That is the link argument. Our birth way able to get that nuclear tech optimism constantly promises that the next best and victory in energy policy will solve all our solutions, which is what the 1AC is saying will solve the entire energy crisis. They say tech K is too sweeping. Our link evidence is nuclear specific. They can see the burn to evidence, and then they indicate nuclear power exports funds to Peruvian. This is proven by exports funds on native populations and those populations who are excluded from decision making. Now the permutation not competitive doesn't make any sense because all the alternatives vote negative. They say method first the K come first, excluding methodological reflection 2 policy not Smith 97 theories. Additional policy makes it give a set of alternatives qualifications scholars performs a distinct function between outside policy and the theory and the position of posting people which are death for the willows of and the struggle with power and policy makers of massive ethical assumption of work here test construction never subject to but also make an actual revolution in social research economic work which is policy mediality of setting table more than global research and policy is a clear about the link between some of the policy starting from loss of policy are often to often be able to find out the people ones really concerned with the dial power policy makers to do searching policy justification from the values interrogating dominant policy further create new space and new ways of approaching energy policy. Our role as energy policy research community interrogate the framing of our policy stress and equal attend energy other energy policy research construction government parties such as economic and national security to maintain your energy policy institutions protect and confronted before new policies like again full time economic policy running discussion with Germany policy discussions analytic approaches serves energy policy research moving to researchers to reflect on the interest in institutional structures and facilitate to train the policy reactors energy policy problems solutions highlights the role of researchers as methodological consideration the interaction of energy policy makers Future flexibility and framing energy policy. They say see the political recontrol unique center energy policy. See the dominant conservative knowledge claims our method is key to reclaim political agency. Stress not what the certain roles suspension concept no longer should order policy discuss policy based upon assumption action chair. Understanding the problems discuss policy around certain defense certain actions discuss way down to the ways of search not claim recognize the way beliefs are shakers are constructive possible to spring possible understand policy now their definition of political is too narrow. Incorporating our method is key to effective energy policy to deconstruct the objectivity of the political process. Cross by this route now is the Strachan Aqua, Restoration Aqua, evidence from Gulf for one. It's pretty damning. There's no reason reason why the alternatives political, we just say we should include other voices, and that is a different form of politics. They say, extinction is empirically not, it's a question of method. That was all about, they say, permutation of permanence, other subjects are restricted because the alternatives directly from it, subordination from equity. If we have a slew of links, each of these are due to the permutation, or one sees cross knock one, and says any risk of these links locks in business usual independently, the permutation jettisons, there's just a justification and method for assembly, the one to make the conditional subordination from equity permutation, co-opt alternative reforms the discourse of hegemony, the one and prevents critical interrogation of failed methods, tricks off within the this because the seals of technical hegemony storylines is useful. The media storylines to recognize the potential of the divine possible prosperity, each side is believed to address one-liners and possible complexity, slides, flexibilization, which subject of discourse and relation code, competition, discourse, dominate, possible semester, patriarchies, possible practice, producial life, dispense, issues that forces the to take a backseat to dominant ways of expressing energy, knowledge, stress, not one time policy rates, all by the assumption of actors of all shapes of the problem they tend to ignore, assumption of knowledge, understanding, underlying policy problems, issues, certain actors of the way dominant, always expressing knowledge, content, context, and rejection is key. Reformism leaves root causes untouched, like optimism itself, deception, defense, critical inquiry, running to 6 acceptance, avoidance, assumptions, hardly, envisioning, criminal constitution, indulgence, self-perception, rather, interior position B, examination, research, level of moderate, touch, technical process, social values, responsibility, objective work, technical process, relates to critical thinking about life, point, is not reality from endless energy, fuel plants, and witness only, consequences of social consequences, social problem to be solved rather than the recognized embed boundaries, policies, and they say extinction out with the needed win frame of principal offense bar. The criticism is the truth claims to attempt the one to see. We want the one to see the true. We approve. Disprove the internal link to insolvency for extinction. Extinction is inevitable. Energy production accelerates military consumption power, enables imperial wars and structural balance to and nuclear weapons burning fully have. Structural balance is the approximate cost of all war creating primary for psychologically structured escalation. Bourge for the attention to little balance to stresses to refers to these humans are reducing the social intervals. Expendable on purpose. These individual genocides are hidden from view. These things are hardly perceived because they're right before us. It's such to recognize the existence of just like a message among other good humans who actions and type of permanent every act of violence right there. Participate genocide acts with the policy possible loss. Balancing genocide magic could generate everyday life, accepted life, and their desire to advance our nuclear industry creates radioactive wastelands, cullets, and yet the U.S. is a high-pressure economic military superior and exploration of the waste abuse and exploited distribution of very heavily distributed activity, collateral damage of wheel and that technology is play for military science and industry, and that case outweighs case outweighs is the link racism, structures American foreign policy, produces global warfare, and obscures its cause and neutrality, rivalries, and white supremacy fundamental to global warfare. These historical narratives and entangles with technology, structural relations, forces, to peace, by analyze complexity of white supremacy, produces reimagined suicides and militarized conceptions of codes, human difference, historic new violence, and their exclusion of the impact on nuclear power and reduced population down mistake is an active obliteration of history. This active amnesia blocks efforts to prevent extermination. You should prioritize indigenous people in your epic actos Cato 93. Nuclear diversion to World War II, national following the nuclear war, most of the World War II, sovereign territories, support for indigenous nations, obliteration, history reveal, ongoing extermination, blocked out, historical fact. Leadership. Very like a lot of like awards on the case of being in the choice you should give me leeway here. Our Collins and Wolford advocates that no powers want to intervene in the caucuses, no impact to Obama power. There's no impact empirically. You also do not give them any impact. They deny explicitly said the choice here. Get size diplomacy does not solve. It's too political and does more damage to other countries that the way perceived. There's no science diplomacy wants in the U.S. They don't have to read more guards here now. The development of credibility is completely irrelevant. Archaic evidence hegemony is credibility level. Even if the U.S. clients are out, can fill in for us. And then has been when empirically there's no impact to credibility anyways. And very for 27 gets data just proves that Germany impact their authors can use correlation with causation to internet. The international liberal order will slow survive without the U.S. because our allies can just fill in for us. Our solely hand evidence gets empirically, and so there's no resource wars. I don't have to do this. When it's constitutes devastating, they don't have a warrant for why resource wars would happen. Their woodsward evidence, our post evidence gets there's no impact disease that would burn out before it would be able to spread. Also, it would burn out stop disease, liberty 99 microbial advances, share 5 many pathogen caught it, and we are actually there were severe for white blood host and the pathogen and look at people kids. There's no impact to field states. Their evidence is based on flood studies. It would be a long-term impact anyways on the solvency debate. Selection evidence gives there's no fusion until 2050. They just read a bunch of evidence about why fusion is feasible. That doesn't answer our argument. Our argument was take a really long time for the act to solve, which means they can't solve any of their impacts, or the impacts have a really long time. For the affirmative evidence indicates that it would take 10 years just to get started, but because it has huge startup costs and the lack of testing. Our selection evidence indicates that the MIT researchers that their incentives will go to say when there are too many logistical hurdles for it to happen. Here's more evidence for refutology. A simple obstacle to Santiago solution to over about protons. A new starting study on particle which you prompt whatever close to 200 million meters per second. Even if also sufficiency of slight misalignment will cause a reproduction. It's hard to get protons together.
Racism just said waste exists now. Fusion doesn't create waste; it actually reduces waste because it eats it in reactions. Why do we link to this?
Okay, a couple of things that question presumes. First, it presumes that fusion actually does that, which we have indicted via our nuclear tech optimism link.
All right, so let's assume that we win, that we solve fusion. Let's operate in that world for this question. Assume that my app solves.
Assume you solve fusion. our link argument still, well, first it's a question of method. It's regardless of whether like the K is unique. There's obviously nuclear violence like being exported. Like that is our argument that like sort of playing into that method that we'll have a sort of a new form of nuclear power that will enable us to not have this nuclear waste.
Do you have a card that says that we won't get that? Other than, do you have a card that talks about fusion?
No, we don't have evidence that talks about fusion. We have cards that talk about nuclear power, and that's specific enough.
Your first answer to the question I'm about to ask is probably going to be F doesn't solve. So let's just like put that aside for a second. What does the alternative do to solve the coming energy crunch?
The alternative incorporates different perspectives rather than sort of top-down knowledge production about how we understand energy policy in order to incorporate the people that it actually affects.
Okay, well, what is that?
That sort of allows us, our scratch and aqua evidence indicates that sort of allows us to have a new way of thinking about energy policy and create like more sustainable solutions.
Okay, our evidence says that within the next 50 years there's going to be a huge population explosion, and that shift to renewables or any energy that's not fusion is insufficient. How does the alternative result in more energy? As opposed to just like giving it to more. There's no energy.
The alternative, like all of those sort of like population to say are coming or whatever, like there's a huge population increase. We would sort of take into perspective those people that energy policy affects.
Okay,
and
but
like,
there's not enough energy to go to them in the future. That's fine. Who does?
Yeah, but they would know, like they would know how to like create more sustainable solutions.
Okay, is nuclear power oppresses people now, right? It's bad for people.
Yeah, nuclear power is bad.
Okay, why is it uniquely worse to shift towards a strategy that doesn't produce waste?
No, we have indicted that claim.
Okay.
Like, the link is an indictment of tech optimism, and our Bernoulli evidence talks about how empirically, people are constantly promised new innovations in nuclear power will constantly.
What could fusion not do? Like, what could go wrong?
Like
you have a general claim about tech optimism.
No, we're just saying that the F isn't true. You don't solve the F's false.
Okay, why is your fusion evidence about tech optimism plan doesn't solve better than our experts from multiple different disciplines that say that fusion's a good idea?
We have indicted the idea of your experts. Our Vernon and Tolley are better to talk about sort of like the social implications. I made it like a clause argument at the top.
They're not all from like, there's no one insight that applies to all of them. Some are reporters, some are...
Our authors are the only ones who've done interdisciplinary graduate research about how it affects displaced populations.
Which pages? Just politics.
One NC. Actually, it might even be called one NC, which was. Do you have another flash up, bro? Here you go. You're good. Oh.
It's called 106.
Should be called speech one.
They can see that if Obama thinks he's losing, then he's going to strike around the means of the perception we want to a small risk of believing for the decided back time frame day. It's time 12 around like the start. I know when the Obama president calling September, October, the sweet spot. This is going to be a literal October surprise. Obama started the water just ahead of the 2012 election, and it's the most probable scenario for escalation and great power drawing call 12. And what the Obama associated extremely by the prevalence is going to be casualties, consequences, torrents, like your barge circles, right, new facility wrong, with face put out instead to escalate with the threat U.S. personnel, international shipping, straight Hormuz, the military showing about great power, and Washington free to the target American military field, a heavy blow to the project, global climate, wrong, consumer resilience, we can see to try to show the competition with last round over Syria, and Iran retaliation might start running UAE into the conflict. In this turns, Jamila should be perceived as I got the U.S. leadership fraud, also be bad. A foreign position also turns to jeopardy because the U.S. will cause overstretch because of the war with Iran, which will cause massive overstretch and trade. Also turns resource wars because it would spur other regional conflicts around the cause superpower draw, and also turns failed states because it would create instability in the region, which makes conflicts in Somalia and other countries in the region and more likely. And it also turns disease because nuclear radiation will blow out the sun and make disease microbial spread more likely. Now, the Union is having a debate. Center out of the ace and evidence national swing state polls show that Obama's winning, but it's close. Preferred because assumes turnout. It's compared between GOP and Democratic outlets and answers all the warnings for the election. And Obama's head, but it's not locked up. Counted to one. Obama is like first 47% of the critical truth economy. Romney split. Romney is speaking to focus on Obama's policy. Clear. Romney's behind. Now, so Romney can't come back. It's close. Obama leads 10-4. Silver 10-4. Obama. The base from the cautious strategy. So legally, Romney make against the head polls after our forecast anticipate the race which hide. Romney may have done the equivalent to field, but not coming to a chance to prove. And newest polls shows Obama's leading. Assumes Rasmussen to Aguilar 10-6. Russian leading national poll conducted by Rasmussen Gallup. Rasmussen has one leading 49% to 47%. Gallup 1% over Romney's 50% polls. Obama's leading 51-45% across the background. 46% like the voters back to Obama versus 44. And Romney's momentum is limited. Silver 10-6 polls were show weak trend towards Romney. The Lincoln Party still leads by 6 points. The polls. And IPO and Gallup and Romney speakers, but children until last night to be many polls will not reflect change of voters. Some of the favorite jobs support needing to control direction link because maybe the link can only go one direction, split more because we only need to read small. The rest of the report usually do their examiner Rasmussen because it's extremely biased towards consumer report, which means that it would obviously show that Romney is getting momentum. Now the Shabbos number. Shabbos will win. Martin Watch 10-6 Shabbos maybe a little small margin. Dance by his party still running the show. The president has broad electoral view, not to mention talking base sticks to domination of political institutions. And their word is oil price spikes. Obama would obviously shift blame silver to 12. The political thought the price is limited. Americans blame companies, countries got more blame. Religion, some very limited the price. Nobody can take blame, and nobody can take the blame. And conclusive polling agrees. So Q12, these polls stands for a gas and 80% say Obama administration, most of them 20 voucher oil, 1% blame Iran. The people in the recent meeting with you now. The links making center evidence against an evidence indicates that fusion is specifically unpopular because it's perceived as expensive, and more evidence it's unpopular because of NIMBY, environmental misperception, and nuclear waste gives itself in the sure disaster. Nuclear waste which attains the public needs to be educated about the difference between fission and fusion before they would be comfortable with the plan being operated near the country. Public between environmentalists and would support fusion. Literally, no support carried 12 here in the U.S. Emotional factors so back is what fusion out of the urgent police continues with more than 2 decades. 2 news is willing to speak out for just about 0. And independent voters, the largest block spending would kill their support. Show 12 independents, the largest voting block. The recommend the government sides of governments, these foreign budget reduction spends for 70% of spending cuts are key. Independents want the government spending parties cannot swing force without them being not impossible. And independents want reduction. Nuclear power share on 12, 83%. Independents want a reduction in reliance on nuclear power. And Obama's backing off nuclear power. Now this answers their perception argument because it means that the plan would be equal speed is political suicide. 1197 and the way people shame no one can believe about promising to take it from the added Obama. Again, made a know this they have chosen to shift away from nuclear power. Obama made this nuclear power is political deadweight and political ignorance, meaning that spin is key in the link debate. With 12 year having the debates to the public debates or constitution to portion of the population to know what they're talking about. Energy to be 12% life information to life from remaining matter. Somebody easily sway the promise yes, but the attention to reduce energy simple way life arguments of passion. Those who like conflicts which might hear about the gym. They said that the issue wouldn't be raised or ignorance that the issue is not being raised now. But Obama has to raise it, which forces him to take a stance for plan which causes the link debate. Now the non-intrusive debate. This is a blippy and not an argument in the truth. He literally says 2 words. The judge is not Obama. You can't fiat a foreign politician by Obama. That judge kills all negative hearings politics systems, which are good because they're real education about current events and they're key to negative ground on the app talking. Now they say the link turn debate that the plan is popular. This evidence is James and Eric talking about the plan talking about the plan and the plan by taking a stand that guarantees either a loss of swing voters or the base during the 12 rising energy prices psychological forces to Obama potential with the frustration of the potential complicated election year Obama recommends the violence represent a critical portion of the base. He also centuries force to be led by the Obama to promise relief of the growth and anti-nuclear environmentalist groups would take advantage of the plans to protest nuclear power. The link can only go one direction. Gamble 11. The one to stop the anti-nuclear flame markets and playing protest. What better way to manipulate the heads of your mom? This is exactly what they don't that you've been through the last 2 decades. Americans don't think that it's clean energy, which means they wouldn't receive it that way. Maryland law 12 Americans do not think nuclear power is clean energy. 2 out of 3 Americans, including 50% of Robo, 65% of independents, 35% Democrats are good. That term clean energy should not be used to discriminate nuclear power with clean energy was defined as including nuclear power. This is what Obama did. Nuclear power is valid for later 6 next. They say No accidents. Question of perception. Steps for 2000 does assume current voters and also does assume public perception. I answer this debate above. Next, they say that Romney went track. It's a question of Obama, not Romney. Next, they say that they say that there's no structure. Colorado evidence is much better than this question. Indicates that there would be massive retaliation. No pressures on both sides for forced retaliation. Next, he says where it's win. This is temporary. Is non-unique. Creamer is running about the payroll tax cut fight. He's not running about electoral strategy and assumes Obama Democrats campaign on that victory. The plan ensures they won't. Only risk of a link, not the term Creamer 11. Their evidence, their card ends here. We won't know for sure that in November when this smoke will take an air break and force. It's up to the progressives to make the most of it. And running on record puts incumbents on the defense, allows the challenger to spin the plan, trying to Greenberg aid incumbency campaign is disadvantage. First and fourth, the incumbents run on the record, effective launch to make certain that the record of the incumbent fourth, the core of the campaign, the incumbent can make the decision of having to justify and explain, answering rather than charging, defending rather than attacking, be forced runs most likely to be a serious handicap.
Intuits not received, points not received.
They say that the plan's not perceived. I've read multiple pieces of evidence to indicate that the perception of the plan would be swung by an anti-environmentalist, which would kill the base turnout, and that independence would raise link because it's perceived as big spending. All of their disads to the counterplan and their arguments on case are about why funding is key, which proves that it would be perceived.